though in thy youth thou wast a true lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou not been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Oh, into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
There's also a writer, you should be so happy.
Alas, poor shepherd! Searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mind. I remember when I was in love. I broke my sword upon a stone, bid him take that, becoming a knight to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her batlet and the cow's dugs, and her pretty chopped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of a peas cod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving her then again said with weeping tears, "Where are these for my sake?" We that are true lovers run into strange capers. But as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature in love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest what?
Running brooks, sermons in the stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill a venison? And yet it irks me that the poor dappled fools, being native burghers to this desert city, should, in their own confines with forked heads, have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today my lord of Amiens and myself did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook which sprawls along this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt did come to languish. And indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans, the very discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose. Piteous chase. And thus the hairy much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what said Jacques?
Oh.
Did he not moralize the spectacle?
Yes, into 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which had too much. Then, being there alone, left and abandoned by his velvet friends, 'tis right, quoth he. Thus misery doth part the flocks of company. Anon, a careless herd, full of the pasture, jumps along by him and never stays to greet him. Aye, quoth Jaques, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus, most invectively he pierceth through the body of the country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
For by this heaven, now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst. I'll go along with you. Why? Whither shall we go? To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden. Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold. I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants. Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man? The gallant kirtle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden woman's fears there will. We'll have a swashing and a marshal outside, and many other mannish cowards that do outface it with their own semblances. What shall I call thee when thou art a man? I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called? Something that hath a reference to my estate, no longer Celia, but Alina. But cousin, Iliana.
Iliana.
I'll find it, yeah. But, cousin, what if we essay to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Well, would he not be a comfort to travel? He'll go along o'er the wide world. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come! More, another stanza. Call you stanzos.
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call compliment is like the encounter of two dog apes. And when a man thanks me heartily, he thinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly sex. Come, sing you. You that will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while, the Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look to you, for you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven and thanks and make no boast of them. Come, Warble, come.
And pleased with what he does. Come hither, come hither, come hither.
What is that?
No enemy of winter and of
I'll give you a verse. to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my intention.
And I'll sing it.
Yes. So thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please. Duck dame, duck die. Here shall he see gross fools as he, and if he will come to me.
What's that? Duck dame.
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go to sleep if I can. Hey.
Yeah.
No, we're in a circle.
I get it.
What's half?
I'll go to sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborns of Egypt. Good night.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Exit severally.
Unto the sweet bird's throat, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
More. More.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More. Prithee. More. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More. I prithee. More.
My voice is ragged. I know it.
Thou seest we are not alone, all alone, unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
Well, the world's a stage. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the whining schoolboy with his satchel. Whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrows. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, and his big, manly voice turning again towards childish trebles, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans chase, sans everything.
We enter Orlando with Adam.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burthen and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
I'm glad you need. Think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
but even now gone hence. Here he was merry, hearing of a song.
If he, compact of jars, grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in these spheres. Go, seek him, tell him I would speak with him.
But he saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this, that your poor friends must to woo your company? What, you look merrily?
I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool. A miserable world as I do live by food. I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking at it, he said with lackluster eye, and says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus may we see how the world works. 'Tis but an hour since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11, and so from hour to hour we ripe, and then from hour to hour we fright. And thereby hangs the tale, when I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time my lungs began to crow like chanticleer that fools could be so deep contemplative. And I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
Worthy fool. One that has been a courtier, and says if ladies be young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observations, with that which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that ever a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit. Provided that you read your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them that I am wise. I must have liberty, withal as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. And why, sir, must they so? The why is plain as way to parish church. He that a fool doth wisely hit, not very foolishly, although he's smart. Not to seem senseless to the bob, if not, the wise man's folly is anatomized, even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee, I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter would I do? Good.
Most mischievous, foul sin in shining sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and that all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou, with license of free foot, hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world?
Why, who cries out on pride? Can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that the weary means do ebb? What woman in the city do I name, when that I say the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say that I mean her? When such a one...
Life. Now, in respect, it is in the fields. It pleaseth me well. But in respect that it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life. Look you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Ooh. Has any philosopher shepherd?
No. Good, content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
That is another simple sin in you. To bring the ewes and and the Wrens together and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle? To be bawd to a bellwether and to betray a she-lamb of the 12-month to a crooked painted old cuckoldry ram out of all reasonable bounds. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see how else thou shouldst escape.
Yeah, here comes my new master. My new mistress's brother.
Enter Rosalind with a paper reading.
From the east to the western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled, no. Tongues I'll hang on every tree that shall civil sayings show. Some how brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friends and friend, but upon the fairest vows, or every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda. Right. Teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite heaven would in little show. Therefore heaven nature charred that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad
Lucretius.
modesty. Thus, Rosalind of many parts, but heavenly synod was divine. Of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and to live and die her slave.
Most gentle pulpiter, what tedious homily of love. Have you ever wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, "Have patience, good people"?
How now? Back, friends! Shepherd, go off a little.
Yeah.
Go with him, Sirrah.
Come, shepherd. Let us make an honorable retreat. Thou not with bag and baggage.
Put a man in your belly.
When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out.
He trot withal.
Mary, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a senate, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For one that sleeps easily because he cannot study, the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief, to the gallows. For though he has to go as softly as a foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe on a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the Connie that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told. of so many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew of courtship too well. For there he fell in love, and I have heard him read many lectures.
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. Proceed. I'll give her.
Good master, what you call it. How do you, sir? You are very well met. A good build you for your black company. I am very glad to see you, even a toy in hand here. Sir, nay, pray, be covered.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, the horse his curb, and the falconer bell, so man hath his desires. As pigeon bill, so wedlock would be a nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be buried under a bush, like a beggar, to get you to church? And have you a good priest that can tell you what marriage is? This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot, and then one of you will prove a shrunk panel and like green timber warp.
Hold it. I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another. For he is not like to marry me well. And not being well married, it will be good excuse for me to hereafter leave my wife. Help a brother out.
Go down with me and let me counsel.
Oh, God. Come, sweet Audrey. We must be married or we must live in Baldry. Farewell, good Master Oliver! Not! Oh, sweet Oliver! Oh, brave Oliver! Leave me not behind thee, but win the way. Be gone, I say. I will not wedding with thee!
She means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can attain my spirits to your worship. You, foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Like foggy south puffing with wind and rain. You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis fools such as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. It's not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven. Fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you, friendly, in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd. Very well,
Sweet youth, I pray you, chide a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness. And she'll fall in love with my anger if it be so. As fast as she answers me with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why? Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you will know my house, 'tis at the Tuft of Olives, here, hard by. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister, shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud, though all the world can see. None could be so abused in sight as he. Come, to our flock.
Exit Rosalind, Celia, and
which they will climb incontinent, or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
Hallelujah, amen.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke the nuptial. But, oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow? It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that I am neither a good epilogue nor cannot insinuate with you in behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering, none of you hates them. That between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Excellent.